Every day people experience luck. They perceive it as something that just happens that's unexpected, either positively or negatively. But we're going to look at, is luck real? The phrase luck is when preparation meets opportunity, how to get rid of bad luck, and how to get good luck. People often wonder whether luck's real. The answer is yes, it is. Some people are extraordinarily lucky, and some aren't. But there are four characteristics that people tend to have that creates good luck, and when you don't have them, it creates bad luck. Um, these characteristics were noticed by a person named Richard Wiseman. He basically wanted to figure out what are the differences between people, and he did a study with about 400 people who did all kinds of tests with him to see how they performed, or how the lucky and the unlucky performed. And basically, he found that lucky people tend to notice opportunities, listen to their intuition, maintain a good mindset, and look for opportunities when things don't go well. Um, and we'll explain more about how he went about getting these results in the next slide. To test if people notice opportunities, Wiseman gave them a newspaper that had two messages in them. One of the messages told them was on the second page, and it told them to stop and the exact number of photos that were in the newspaper. The second message was stop reading, stop reading, and um, tell him that you found this message and you get $250. Okay, and it was about 2/3 of the way through. So he gave the people the newspaper and asked them to count the number of photos. The lucky people would spot the first note and stop and tell them the number of photos, and they were done. It took them a couple seconds. The unlucky people completely missed this note, which was surprising because it was like 2-inch large font, which is pretty big. Um, but they were so focused on counting the number of pictures that they didn't notice that the answer was right in front of their face and made it really easy for them to be able to get it. So you just have to be open to noticing opportunities. Um, the personality tests that he ran found that the people who are unlucky are typically more stressed. So things like meditation can help you be calmer and therefore be more aware of what's around you. So most of us, a lot of times, have a gut feel about things, and we might hear it as a voice in our head or seeing a picture. Each person's a little different how we see it, but those things kind of give us an idea of, hey, this can be done. This is how you do it. You might, let's take an example, walking through a casino. You might be walking around and a machine calls to you, even though it's not doing anything special. It just calls to you. It's not making noise. And you can either go to it and play it and see what happens, or you can just keep on walking by. The person who goes to it is listening to their intuition, while the person who ignores it is ignoring it. And when you trust your intuition, um, a lot of times you're just going to you'll experience more. You might have better results because, I mean, worst case scenario, you learn something. Best case scenario, you get good results. And over time, trusting yourself and listening to yourself will be very beneficial, as long as the thoughts that you are having are positive, which brings us to our next point, which is keep a positive mindset. Maintaining a positive mindset, it just means you're thinking about stuff in a way that expects everything to work out. It doesn't mean that you expect you're going to do everything perfectly the first time. It just means that things will work out, you'll get through it, and you'll grow from the experience. Um, there are things you can do. For instance, one of the examples that Wiseman gives in his report is that the lucky people would go out of their way to create opportunities. For instance, when you're driving to work, there are normally multiple paths you can use to get there. And each path will create a different opportunity. Another example that he gave was that people who went to parties realized that they were always talking to similar types of people. And so each party they went to, they'd make the decision to talk to people that are wearing a specific color, which makes it where they're meeting people that they wouldn't normally meet because they are intentionally changing their behaviors. And that makes it where you're likely to create new results. Another thing that Wiseman found was that people who consider themselves lucky tend to look at the silver lining when bad things happen. For instance, let's say you go to a bank. He gives an example of how he would ask people, what's the first thing you think if you go to a bank and you get shot in your arm? The lucky people would be grateful that they didn't get shot in the head. Um, that they got shot in the arm means they get to live, and quite possibly they can make some money by selling their story. Meanwhile, people who consider themselves unlucky automatically blamed it on their bad luck. Oh, wrong place, wrong time. Oops, shouldn't have been there. That's just my luck. And just that mindset, like that mindset difference, it's really like you can change that every time you start thinking, oh my god, I always have shit go wrong. Look for the bright side in what went wrong. For instance, let's say you get fired from a shitty job. Well, the bright side is you don't have to deal with that bad job anymore. You can go find something you like more without having that horrible job take up your time. Most states also, you'll get paid earlier. Cool, right? So there's some benefits to getting fired that even if it even if you don't like getting fired, it doesn't mean it's the worst thing in the world. And if you find those opportunities, you'll be happier. Getting rid of bad luck can take some time because you have to break mindsets. I tend to like to think of luck as kind of like karma. Um, Everything you do either is a good thing, a bad thing, or a neutral thing. When the bad things outweigh the good things, you've got bad luck. And when the good things outweigh the bad things, you have good luck. So, if you've done a lot of bad things over your life, it can take some time to get the number of good things you do to outweigh the bad things you do. Um, at that point, and so you kind of have to actively work on changing that. Some luck might just be mindset, at which point you have to change it. Um, Once upon a time, I didn't have much self confidence, so I would go in front of the mirror and tell myself, "You're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you." Um, as so, I'd literally do that. I tell myself that until I believed it. And it took some time. I mean, it took 6 months or a year before I actually believed that. And then once I believed that, my ability to interact with people changed. So you switch stuff up, work on, improve your mindset if your mindset's bad. If you feel like you're not getting enough opportunities, intentionally change something you do. Instead of taking the same path to work every morning, take a different path. If you like to get Starbucks every morning, go to a different Starbucks than you normally go to. Go do whatever you need to do to break your patterns. If you break your patterns, you'll change your trajectory. I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. When you think about that, it puts it in a very different light. Um, so preparation is just making sure that you're always ready. If you look unkempt, if like for instance, right now I haven't shaved, I look kind of messy. But if I get all nicely dressed, I shave, I trim my eyebrows, I do all the things, I take a shower, brush my teeth, make myself look as good as possible, and then go out, I'm going to feel better. If I bring business cards with me to hand out to people who ask me what I do, I can hand them out and I meet new opportunities. Um, so that's just being prepared. Always having the stuff you need with you when you need it. Um, and then the opportunity, well, is just whatever happens to come can come to you. You are prepared to respond to. Um, and some things are easier than others. For instance, for instance, it's really easy to give someone a business card, but if you find someone who wants to sell their business and you've got no money, well, if you're not educated on stuff like owner financing, you wouldn't know that you can like negotiate a deal where you basically pay the owner over a specific period of time, as opposed to getting a loan from a bank or paying for it in cash. So things like educating yourself, um, all doing those things to keep yourself healthy and fit and looking presentable are really important. Uh, Going out, changing up your routine. When you do a lot of those things, you'll end up creating more opportunities and potentially getting very favorable outcomes just because you showed up. And a lot of people won't even show up these days. Like after the pandemic, a lot of people have much worse social anxiety. They don't want to be around people. And that makes it harder for them to accomplish the things they want to accomplish because people tend to want to support people that they know, like, and interact with. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share.